right, everyone. So, we are going to talk about the significance of Diwali. Welcome, Hare Krishna. Please enter. Come on in. So, all right. So we're going to chant this Mangala Charana, these prayers, and get the blessings from our acharyas, so that we may speak something pleasing to the Lord and relevant and significant that you all may benefit. Manali, this is for you. You can scroll through these prayers. So if you want, you can chant together.
That's okay.
Okay. Is this in a proper position?
Yeah.
It's okay? Alright, good.
It's just maybe a little crooked.
Ooh, that's not good. Om Jnana. You can all chant with me. Om Jnana. Sajivam Sadvatam Samagyatam Parijana Sajitam Samyadevam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Samaganadalita Shrisha Hanvitam Scha He Krishna Karanasyo Dinamano Jagamate Gopisha Gopika Kandara Tata Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwani Suridevi Vani Haripriye Vanchakalpatu Vishwabhas Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanyo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, one more. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine, Namaste Saraswati Devi, Gaurvani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Shrivari Vashya, Nishantadine. Jai. All right. So, Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone. I know this. One more time your name. Yes. Teardal. Hello, come on in. Hi. Come on in. So, wow. Parth, bring your friends. Yes. Hello. Welcome. Are you all familiar with the Diwali festival? A little bit, yeah. Maybe you've heard lots of fireworks. In India, there's also lots of pollution that comes during Diwali because of all the fireworks. I remember one year we were in Vrindavan in Kartik, and it was the day after Diwali. And on the day after Diwali, one of my friends, he was with me, and he's looking at the clouds, and he said, "You see that over there?" And he's looking at a big dark smog cloud. And he's like, "That's going to come over Vrindavan. That's coming from Delhi, from Diwali. And that's going to come over Vrindavan and everyone's going to get sick." And I said, "What?" And then lo and behold, that thing came over Vrindavan and everybody got sick. Everybody got sick. Yes, I got sick. Everybody got sick.
So it was true.
Yes, he was right. He was 100% right. He was experienced with Diwali in India. So, but good news is if we celebrate Diwali here in America, there's not going to be so much fireworks, and not everyone's going to get sick. So that's the good news. But at least in Vrindavan, because you're so near Delhi. Delhi is the most populated city in India. So there's so many fireworks that it literally causes a pollution cloud that will get everyone sick. But anyway, so that was my experience with Diwali. But does everyone know the spiritual significance of Diwali? I see we have a few new faces. What is your name, kindly? Sagita. Have you been here before? No. Are you coming? This your family?
Yeah.
Oh, very nice. We love your family. So it's very good. And my kind sir, can you remind me your name?
My name is Veem.
Veem.
Yes.
Yes. And Lakshmi is your wife?
Pavitra.
Pavitra. Oh, Pavitra, that's right. Yes. So many nice families.
Yes.
So yes, Pavitra. She is coming today?
No, she works in this week.
All right, no problem.
Every other week.
So you tell her the message today.
Sorry, this is muted.
Okay, so it's muted. Good. So, all right, and Manali, very good. And we have Vijay Kumar. And more time, your mother? Sarojini.
Yeah.
And then we have Eunice, right? And one more time, mother?
Oda.
Oda?
Yeah.
Oda and
Rose.
Rose. I remember Rose. So very happy. And Deidre and Nadia and Mukunda Prabhu and Parth. And then we have a whole team in the kitchen that hopefully they'll come soon. So, we're going to talk about Diwali today. But in order to talk about Diwali, we have to understand one concept that we're going to share from the Bhagavad Gita. You've all heard of Bhagavad Gita before? So Bhagavad Gita is one of the most famous spiritual classics. Interestingly enough, when Britain conquered India, they had found Bhagavad Gita. And they said, wow, this is so amazing, and it has so much similarity to the teachings of Christ. They must have plagiarized that. They're taking our teachings of Christ and they're plagiarizing it and giving it their own teachings. So this was actually the claim of the early British discoverers who had kind of conquered India and did the imperial thing. But anyway, what they end up finding was that actually Bhagavad Gita far outdated Christianity altogether. But very interestingly enough, what Jesus taught so many thousands of years later had the same universal spiritual message. So we're going to share a little bit of that message, and we are going to, and that will tie into why we celebrate Diwali. What's the purpose of Diwali? So without further ado, we already chanted our prayers. We're going to study the most important 4 verses of the Bhagavad Gita. In these 4 verses give the sum and substance of Bhagavad Gita. If you know these 4 verses, you have the essence of Bhagavad Gita. So they're called the Chatur Shloki. The 4 shlokas, the 4 verses that'll give you everything. And we'll study the first one here together. Is it still not working? Okay. Repeat after me. Can you all see on the TV?
Yes.
Ahang sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvang pravartate iti matva bhajante mang buddha bhava samanvita. Jai. So repeat. Anyone want to give it a try? Danya, would you like to chant? Ahang sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvang pravartate iti matva bhajante mang buddha bhava samanvita. Would anyone else like to chant? Teardal, you chant every day.
Chants in Sanskrit. It is in Sanskrit. I can.
If I pulled up the Devanagari, then
Yeah, you can read
okay.
this
No, it's okay.
Aham sarvasya prabhavo
Ahang sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvang pravartate iti matva bhajante mang buddha bhava samanvita. Okay. Anyone else like to try? Parth, you go.
Aham sarvasya prabhavo.
Aham sarvasya prabhavo.
Sarvam pravartate.
Mata sarvang pravartate.
Iti matva bhajante mam.
Iti matva bhajante mam.
Buddha bhava samanvitaha.
Buddha bhava samanvita. Very good. So we'll go through the Sanskrit. Isn't it amazing? Does anyone know the oldest language in existence? It's what is that type of question? Is it rhetorical?
Like some of the words go into Hindi and other languages.
Yes, yes.
Like little bit.
What's the oldest language?
Oh, so probably Sanskrit.
It's definitely Sanskrit. This is our modern scientists have also studied this. And actually the unique thing about Sanskrit is in the beginning of Sanskrit's origin, they had no desire to write it down. But only in the last, within the last 7,000 years, the actually writing of Sanskrit became part of the tradition. It was actually all carried on orally. Interestingly enough, our modern scientists, they say that writing is the beginning of evolution of advanced societies. But actually what they don't know, and what actually the Vedas claim, is the exact opposite. That writing was actually the beginning of the dulling of the brain of the human being. And instead of an evolution to where we are today, actually there's a devolution. So isn't that interesting? So that's the ancient claim that and actually a lot of, I don't know, you see these conspiracy shows on Netflix and things like Ancient Aliens and things. You might have seen Ancient Aliens, you've heard of this before. But anyway, they use this evidence and things like that to claim that there were civilizations far more advanced. They're the ones who built the pyramids and all these stuff like that. I'm not getting into that today. But what I am getting into, that there's actually, Sanskrit is an incredible language. It's poetry. It's sung. The Bhagavad Gita literally means the song of God. It's a song, actually. And it's part of the longest poem in existence called the Mahabharata. And it is the philosophical conclusion of this poem, actually. And it's a whole ancient epic. It's an ancient tale, and it's wonderful. But anyhow, this is one of the claims of Bhagavad Gita. So remember, these 4 verses. If you know these 4, you have the entire essence of Bhagavad Gita down. So if you pay attention, you can actually, wow, I got the essence of Bhagavad Gita. I know what to do now. So, aham, I, sarvasya, of all, prabhava, source of generation, mata, from me, sarvam, everything, pravartate, emanates, iti, thus, matva, knowing, bhajante, becomes devoted, mam, unto me, buddha, learned, bhava, bhava samanvita, with great attention. So repeat after me. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who know this perfectly engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So let's see. Prabhupada is given a short purport. Prabhupada's purport says, a learned scholar who has studied the Vedas perfectly and has information from authorities like Lord Chaitanya and knows how to apply these teachings can understand that Krishna is the origin of everything in both the material and spiritual worlds. Because he knows this perfectly, he becomes firmly fixed in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. He can never be deviated by any amount of nonsensical commentaries or by fools. All Vedic literature agrees that Krishna is the source of Brahma, Shiva, and all other demigods. In the Atharva Veda it is said, Yo Brahmanang Vidadati, Purvang Yo Vai Vedang Cha Gapayati Sma Krishnaha. It was Krishna who in the beginning instructed Brahma in the Vedic knowledge, and who disseminated Vedic knowledge in the past. Then again it is said, Atha Purusho Havai Narayano Kamayata Praja Shreyait Upakramya. Then the Supreme Personality Narayan desired to create living entities. Again it is said, I'll just skip all the Sanskrit. From Narayan Brahma is born, and from Narayan the patriarchs are also born. From Narayan Indra is born, and from Narayan the 8 Vasus are born, and from Narayan the 11 Rujas are born, and from Narayan the 12 Adityas are born. So, in the beginning of the creation there was only the Supreme Personality Narayan. There was no Brahma, no Shiva, no fire, no moon, no stars in the sky, no sun. There was only Krishna who creates all and enjoys all. In the many Puranas, it is said that Lord Shiva was born from the highest. The Supreme Lord Krishna and the Vedas say that it is the Supreme Lord, the creator of Brahma and Shiva, who is to be worshipped. In the Moksha Dharma, Krishna also says, Prajapatim charudram chapyaham eva shrujami vayato himam na vijanito mamamaya vimohito. The patriarch, Shiva, and others are created by me, though they do not know that they are created by me, because they are deluded by my illusory energy. In Varaha Purana, it is also said, Narayana paro devas tasmad jatas chatur mukha tasmad rudro bhavad deva sacha sarva gyatang gataha. Narayana is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and from him Brahma was born, and from whom Shiva was born. Lord Krishna is the source of all generations, and he is called the most efficient cause of everything. He says that because everything is born of me, I am the original source of all. Everything's under me, no one is above me. There is no supreme controller other than Krishna. One who understands Krishna in such a way from a bona fide spiritual master and from Vedic literature, who engages all his energy in Krishna consciousness, becomes a truly learned man. In comparison to him, all others who do not know Krishna properly are but fools. Only a fool would consider Krishna to be an ordinary man. A Krishna-conscious person should not be bewildered by fools. He should avoid all unauthorized commentaries and interpretations on Bhagavad Gita, and proceed in Krishna consciousness with determination and firmness. Okay. So, what is this verse indicating? That there is a God. God is... Many in the Vedic culture almost unanimously accept God, or at least Brahman, that everything is a universal spiritual energy. Even now, our modern scientists, they're trying to diagnose, they're trying to pick apart all the parts of things and try to find that one base thing that everything else is emanating from. Right? Am I correct? I have scientists in the room. The scientists are trying to do that? What is the big project they have that is trying to do this thing? It's in Sweden. What's that? Yeah, the Large Hadron Collider. They're trying to split apart atoms and split apart as many things as possible and find the universal thing that sustains all things. And they call it the God particle, actually. Because actually what they're looking for is, by definition, would have the some of the many qualities that are attributed to God. Being the source of all things and so on. Eternal, infinite. So they're looking for this thing. They understand that something infinite and eternal is forming reality. They just haven't... the only problem they're going to have is that the senses are imperfect in their ability to study an infinite universe. So if I quantify anything in this world... we'll just call it X. We have an X amount of ability to perceive this world with the human senses. But if we put that X over... you guys are scientists, you know better than me. What is the understanding of how vast the universe is? He's saying infinite. Do you agree? You're his professor. So he should know from you. So he's also... you seem to agree. You agree? Okay. From what I understand, the number is ineffable. Meaning, they don't know it's infinite, but from what they understand, they cannot find the end of that thing. They cannot quantify it. So, what's x? Any number of x over... this is math now. Are you guys doing math in your... right? Yes. So, math is part of the equation, right? So, put x over an ineffable number. And what do you get? Practically zero. This is the human being's ability to understand reality. This is the scientist's ability to understand reality, actually. It's practically 0% of reality. That's all we can do with our senses because they're quantifiable. They have a limit. So this actually puts us in a great predicament here. Scientifically speaking, we are qualified to understand 0% of reality. Isn't that exciting? Practically zero. X over an ineffable number. Practically zero. So, what can be done is, we have two options. We hope that somehow or other we overcome this gigantic disadvantage we have of, like if I told, I have a son, Abhiram. There's some nice children in the room. If somebody told me that Abhiram had practically his chances of survival were practically 0%, I would be so concerned. I would be, oh my God, what could be done? It's practically 0%. But now if we turn that around to our life, if we try to understand that we have any chance of understanding reality, we have practically 0% understanding. That would be like, oh my God, what are we going to do? I'm not going to understand anything. So on one hand, scientifically, we're at a huge disadvantage, at a practically 0% disadvantage of understanding the deep levels of truth of reality, or understanding, being able to measure reality. But on the other hand, if there is an authority, if there is somebody who knows something, well, one, they'd have to not be like us at this 0% disadvantage that we're at. And two, if they do know something, and they happen to be, the claims are there is an omniscient being, there is an all-knowing, all-powerful being who set forth this creation, who put everything together perfectly so it systematically runs like clockwork. The seasons are changing, the planets are moving, there's DNA that's forming things, the body's digesting and we don't even know how it's doing. We just smash food in our mouth and next thing you know, there's a whole process. There's this amazing thing that's happening in life. And if there is an intelligence that put it together, wouldn't you want to understand, well, I should know from that intelligence? Yes or no? What do you guys think? The scientific thing to do? Okay, Bhagavad Gita is making an observation, or making a hypothesis. So now let me observe this hypothesis, and then maybe let me see it, let me observe it, and then let me develop my own hypothesis, and let me experiment. So this is the scientific, because we have scientists in the room. This is the scientific approach that we must, that we would be recommended to come to for Bhagavad Gita. To say, okay, let me at least observe this. Scientifically, I don't have a chance on my own to get a really good grasp of this. And in neither can I study other mortal men who also are at the same disadvantage that I am at. But maybe, just maybe, someone knows something. Now those people of faith, for whatever reason, they've already come to the conclusion that someone must know something. And that someone is God, and they trust God. Or they trust a great saint, or a prophet, or a Messiah, who has performed magical, mystical abilities, and shown that they are beyond the normal capacities of human beings. Now Krishna was one of those personalities. When he was here on the world, he did perform so many incredible pastimes. So many incredible pastimes where it's undeniable. But then even just philosophically, you look at the work he left, the Bhagavad Gita. It's so vast and it's so comprehensive knowledge. Like, for instance, when the British conquered India, they thought, this is so similar to what was presented by Jesus, they must have copied this. But actually, interestingly enough, it came far, far, far before Jesus came to this world. So, this is the claim of Bhagavad Gita, that there is a God, and that He is the source of all spiritual, and He's the source of all that which is spiritual, which is subtle energy we can't perceive, and He's also the source of everything that's material, that which we can perceive. Everything's actually emanating from Him. You know, we think, all right, well, I just had a son. You guys had Rose a few years back. You think, well, Rose's body came from your bodies. I think my son's body came, but where did my body come from? All right, well, you say, all right, well, it came from my parents' bodies. Oh, where did their bodies come from? Oh, their parents' bodies. And then it's actually an infinite loop. So, okay, well, where is the ultimate source? Where is the source? If everything is coming, the source is some other thing, but then it also has a source. Actually, do you know what the logic would lead us to believe? At some point, there has to be. There has to be one independent source from which something else comes from. Or else it's impossible. Impossible that it's an infinite loop and there is no beginning. So, all of these qualities that you can even study with logic and science actually lead to the conclusion of God. I don't know his name, but there's the father of modern physics. You guys do physics? No. I don't know. You
Yeah,
guys,
we have some.
some physics, well, you guys do, but they're in the PhD program right here. So he's the professor, and he's one of the students of the PhD program in Syracuse for, I think, about electrical engineering. So I don't know how relevant. Is physics super relevant? Okay, so he's saying yes. You agree? Oh, he's saying yes. So the father of modern physics, he actually said this, that the first gulp of the study of the natural sciences will make one an atheist. But as you get closer to the bottom of the glass, you'll find God waiting there for you. Albert Einstein had the same conclusion. Why? The more you know, what? What's the Western axiom? Many people say. The more you know, the more you realize, the less you know. I asked I guess the wrong crowd. But the more you know, the more you realize, the less you know. So actually this happened with the father of modern physics. And in his beginning of his study of actually setting, I forget his name, but he's the academic father of modern physics. But
Newton? No.
not Newton. He's of modern physics. I think he was sometime in the early 1900s.
Oh.
Do you know?
Feynman.
What's that?
Richard Feynman.
It might be. So I'll have to verify it. But what he said was,
Richard Feynman.
Oh.
but what he said was that the more he understood about physics and this reality, the more he realized that 0% disadvantage that he was at. And then his conclusion is that everything is happening so perfectly and it's so marvelous and wonderful, there must be an intelligent designer. And this, would be attributed to understanding God. Bhagavad, what's that? That's it. Warner Heisenberg. I knew it was Warren something, but so thank you, Mukunda. Warner Heisenberg, this was his conclusion. So we should understand that, okay, sometimes we may, I know myself, until I had a physical out-of-body experience, which was a traumatic thing that happened in my life, like a near-death experience, I was very adamantly atheist in my life. And even so much so I preached atheism against others. But actually, lo and behold, God had a funny sense of humor because I thought I would spend much of my time and energy blaspheming God in my life. And he's like, all right, now I'm going to make you godly. So what the funny sense of humor is, through a traumatic experience, I had a very vivid spiritual experience of leaving my body, and would be called an OBE, or an out-of-body experience. Most of these happen when either a certain potent level of psychedelic drugs are taken, which is what happened to me, or actually, interestingly enough, the same chemical at birth and at death, this is released in the pineal gland in the brain, which is very interesting. Or those who have a near-death experience in like a really traumatic accident or something like this. But they have these, you can study these. You can study these experiences, but I had a typical out-of-body experience, and almost always, they're always spiritual. And the conclusion they have is that there is a realm far beyond what the normal human senses, that they have a spiritual experience, and they make a connection with a more advanced being, or sometimes God themselves. So which is very interesting. But I had such an experience. I won't go into detail of the experience. You could ask me in person, or I could share a YouTube video, or I explain the whole thing at some other time. But that's how I came to know, okay, I should look into something greater. You don't need to have such a traumatic thing happen to you. Even though at death you will face the same reality, that chemical that floods the pineal gland during these experiences, and that chemical that the psychonauts are extracting via the drug process, that's there. It's going to happen at death, and it happens at birth too, which is interesting enough. But anyway, you could verify all this on your own. You could do the research. But the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita and all the spiritual traditions and all the great saints, sages, prophets, the great rishis of India, is that there is one source of reality. And they call it different names. And Krishna also had that conclusion. And he himself is declaring, I actually am that. So this is the first essence of Bhagavad Gita. There is a God, and every one of you and everything is emanating from me. And then, if you know this, The wise who know this will worship me. So if you're wise, Krishna is saying, you will realize my existence and then you will worship me. So this is going to be important because this is actually the purpose of Diwali. The realization of Diwali is, I'll explain that, is to worship him. But we're going to just go next. What is Krishna saying next? In the next verse, he says, Mach chitta madgata prana. If you want, I can pull it up for you guys. Mach chitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam. Kathayantas chamam nityang tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So he says this, Mach chitta. When your consciousness is in me, madgata prana, when your very life is devoted to me, your prana, your life air, your very life is in me, bodhayanta parasparam. You'll assemble with others, parasparam, and you'll enlighten one another about me. So whatever spiritual realizations I give, you'll actually do what we're doing right now. We'll gather, and then we'll talk of these ancient secrets. And then, kathayantas chamam nityam, one who hears this talking, eternal, who's always talking of me, tushyanti cha ramanti cha, they will get great satisfaction and pleasure. That's the next thing. One, there's a God. First, there's a God. Two, okay, once we understand that, we put our consciousness in God, we devote our very lives to God. And the wise who know this, they'll worship God. And when our consciousness is in God, and then our very lives are devoted to God, we gather with others, we speak of God, we're always speaking and trying to hear about God, and we'll get great pleasure and satisfaction this way. So that's the next part of Bhagavad Gita. Now, you may have to experiment with this yourself. Okay. Well, what's the thing? All right. They're saying they'll get great satisfaction and pleasure. But then we have to evaluate, am I getting great satisfaction and pleasure in life?
No.
We can look. Who here experiences anger? Who here experiences suffering? Who here experiences sorrow? Do you know why we are experiencing all these things? Because we are not always happy, actually. Actually, we're very rarely really actually happy. 90% of the time we're kind of just bored, waiting for the next happy thing to happen. And then 5% of the time we're happy, another 5% of the time we're really sad. And then the other 90% we're kind of just in between, like waiting, like am I going to be really happy or am I going to be really sad next? And we're always trying to be happy, but guess what? It doesn't always work. Actually, most of the time it doesn't work. There are many miseries that are taking place in this world. The first is adhyatmic miseries. Those are miseries of one's own body and mind. So anyone ever have a stomach ache? An ear infection? Any, sickness, disease? How about mental anxiety, pressures, so much stress, depression, anger, grief. These are adhyatmic miseries. They're naturally coming due to our attachments to these things in this world, but primarily our body. And our body is not eternal. Because it's not eternal, it's always going to dwindle, and as it dwindles, we get upset. No one really wants to get old, but guess what? It's necessary. Everyone wants to look very nice and youthful and beautiful forever, but it's impossible. And guess what happens? No one really enjoys it. Oh no, another gray hair. Oh no, my teeth are falling out. Oh no, all these things. So, there's actual fundamental suffering in this world. We're all suffering. So, on top of that, adibautic sufferings. Then there's tons of other living entities, whether they are bacteria or mosquitoes or tigers and lions and bears, oh my, that are trying to harm you in this world. Or whether it's just some mean person in traffic who cuts you off or said something mean about you or this, that, and the other thing. So like this. Oh, Matt and River. Haribol. So this is also happening. Hey, come on in. Come on in, guys. So, so this is a problem we're having in this world. We're actually suffering, and we don't have a solution for the suffering. Like you guys are our scientists representatives in the room. Have they come up with the end all to suffering in the science? No. And actually they never will. Because one of the fundamental principles of this world is those in it are to suffer. Because this is the way God actually designed it. God designed this world simply for you to suffer. Why? Because your suffering actually has value. That's a whole nother thing. Your suffering actually has value in this world. But it takes a lot of suffering before we finally get the picture. We actually get the point. But here, he's telling us a secret. Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. This is how you can always be greatly pleased and satisfied. How? With consciousness in me. One, aham sarvasya prabhavo. Knowing I am God, knowing everything's emanating with me. If you're wise, you will worship me. Step 1, last verse. This verse, much chitta, with your consciousness in me. Madgata prana, with your life devoted to me. Bodhayanta parasparam, gathering with others and trying to understand more about me, which is the point of this program. Kathayantas shamam nityam, always talking of me. That person can have great pleasure and satisfaction. This is the great pleasure and satisfaction formula Krishna is giving in Bhagavad Gita. You agree with it or not, that's up to you. Scientifically, you should experiment with it. If you want to actually test it, all right, does it work or does it not work? But what's the other option? You're going to suffer in this world. Guaranteed. You're not going to enjoy getting old. You're not going to enjoy getting diseases. You're definitely not going to enjoy dying. Yes. Nobody is going to enjoy these things. And you're not meant to enjoy them. But if someone is giving, the claim is he's an omniscient, all-knowing, all-powerful being. We just went through the science that from our limited standpoint, we have a 0% chance of understanding reality with our current facilities, the human body and its senses. So we just went, right? Did my equations make sense? This is my PhD student Parth, who lives here, and this is his professor, Dr. Yunus, the electrical engineering PhD leader, right? So we went through the equations earlier, the scientific equations, and we diagnosed that the amount of knowledge that the human body and its senses can understand is practically 0%, right? Yes, they're saying this. So confirmed by the scientists in the room. So this is our dilemma. We have a 0% chance, and we're suffering like anything. We have more scientific advancement now than ever. True or false? Okay, so that means everyone should be happier. True or false? Maybe true. But what's the actual case? Are there more diseases than ever?
Yes.
Are there more mental conditions than ever?
Yes.
Are there more people on psychotic drugs and things like that than ever?
Yes.
Are hospitals more filled than ever?
Yes.
Yeah. So how valuable, actually? How valuable are all these advancements in this thing? We have to understand what can actually give to Shanti and Ramanti, what can actually give great satisfaction and pleasure. Krishna is saying, when your consciousness is absorbed in me and life devoted to me, and your talks and everything that you do is revolving around me, that person can be happy. Otherwise, what's the other option? This world that you're seeing that's filled with suffering, and it's only going to get worse, unfortunately. I wish I had good news, but the good news is he's giving you the formula, what to do. Then he says, these 4 verses are giving the whole essence of Bhagavad Gita. But there's 700 verses in Bhagavad Gita, and there's 48,000 verses in the whole Mahabharata. You can get so much enlightenment by going through these things. But just in 4 verses, I can give you, not me, Krishna can give us so much. But then he says next, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayanti te. Tesham, unto them, satata yuktanam, who are always engaged, bhajatam, in my worship, priti purvakam, in loving ecstasy. So those who are doing what was recommended in the previous verse, in love now, they're always, engaged in serving the Lord. Dadami, he gives. Buddhi yoga, real intelligence. Isn't that nice? One of the whole essences of the science is to increase our intelligence. But actually, God is giving us the conclusion. How do we get real intelligence? It's revelation, actually. Like in the end of the Bible is the book of Revelation. And actually, we understand this. Professor Yunus, Parth is your student. Yes? Now, if Parth, as your student, he was deciding to not take your suggestions, how would you feel about him as your student? What's that? Yeah, he wouldn't be a very good student. Why? Because the revelation of a teacher is much more valuable than if he were to try to do everything on his own. Because you have years of wisdom and training, and you learn from teachers, that it will be very valuable for him to try and understand that from you, correct? Of course. So same with us. Even the Western mind, we have this independent spirit. I'm independent. It pretty much means I'm an idiot. Why? Why is it? Because we know this when we raise children. To let a child wander the streets and try and figure out the world by themselves is very foolish. That the parents have so much value and wisdom to give the children. So similarly, we're all like cosmic children who we just ran the equations. We know practically 0% of reality. And the only hope we actually have is to get revelation. And actually that's what the Lord says He'll do. To those who devote and worship Him, He will give the revelation of real intelligence to us. It's not something you can do by yourself. And just like Professor Yunus understands, if Parth were and all his students were to try to do the work all by themselves and not take, come on in, Happy Diwali, and not take his suggestions, then we know, Professor Yunus will know that's not a very intelligent student, and I'm actually going to fail him out if he continues like this. But the wise, they'll learn from those who have knowledge, who have wisdom. And so the Lord will actually connect us with those type of people. These are called sadhus, or the ancients would call them prophets or sages. Those who've been given spiritual revelation. And so Krishna says this is that real intelligence. We're talking about the meaning of Diwali. And then how do we do it? This word. Tesham eva nukam partham aham agyana jam tamaha nashayam yatma bhavasto gyana dipena bhashvata. He's saying, for them, certainly, to show special mercy, anukam partham, aham, I, agyana, due to their ignorance, the darkness they find themselves in. So if you're suffering in this world, anyone suffering? Yes, everyone is suffering. It's a part of reality here. So, but he says, why are we suffering? Agyana jam, due to ignorance, we find us in the darkness of tama, or suffering. So due to our ignorance do we suffer. Like for instance, if I don't know that fire is hot, and I didn't crunch all the equations, I have no experience, and I said, let me touch the fire. Do you guys think that would be a good idea? No. Why do you not think it's a good idea? Because you have experience already. You've learned fire is hot, don't touch fire. But due to ignorance, I don't know fire is hot, like a baby. And a baby sticks something in an electrical outlet and he gets hurt, like this. Due to ignorance, this is why we suffer actually. But Krishna says, Nasha yam yatma bhavasto. And he's saying, I will dispel that ignorance from that soul. How? Jnana dipena bhashvata. Through the glowing lamp of knowledge. So he says, the glowing lamp of knowledge, a jnana deep. Now today we're celebrating Deepawali or Diwali. You know this? Yes? In India you're celebrating tomorrow, right? We have a program tomorrow, so please come tomorrow. And my wife is actually giving the class. She gives a much sweeter class than I do. I'm all about like logic and crunching numbers and all these things. It's in everyone's best interest to logically do things. So I give what's a lot of called like Siddhanta. Where my wife, she's much more sweeter than I. She'll give the sweet pastimes and all these things of Diwali. But just like we're going to give a nice feast. But when the body is healthy, it can eat some sweets and it's not a problem. But if the body is not healthy, eating sweets actually gives one problems. It ultimately will lead to like diabetes or something like this. So the whole purpose of Siddhanta, understanding the conclusions, is to give some bitter medicine that no one wants to hear, but they need to hear so they get better. All traditional medicines are bitter herbs, like neem and all traditional medicines. Even our synthetic medicines they're making now, which aren't really medicines at all, but that's a whole nother topic. But they all stem from bitter herbs. That's what a real medicine is. A medicinal herb is bitter. So actually, when you have to hear Harikatha, you have to hear some Siddhanta of the conclusions that yes, you're suffering and you have no chance to not suffer unless you take this advice. And that's my job. I'm the bitter herb giver. And then if I achieve in my goal of maybe helping cure some of the sickness, some of the intoxication we have with a system of trying to pursue happiness that's impossible. Yes, I'll tell you, trying to find happiness in this material world is impossible. It does not work. You will not be successful. And the symptoms of old age, disease, and death will thwart you at every step of the way. But Krishna is telling you how to be Tushyanti and Ramanti, how to actually be greatly satisfied and pleased. And that's to devote your life to Him and worship Him. And then He will give you that real intelligence by which you can actually be happy. So that's the essence of these 4 verses of Bhagavad Gita. Now for Diwali. Why do we celebrate Diwali? What is Diwali? There were 3 Diwalis. Today is celebrating what Diwali? Or tomorrow is celebrating what Diwali? Maybe you didn't know there were 3 Diwalis. Did you know there were 3 Diwalis? No, yes. We'll try to learn something today. We'll see. What's the main Diwali? Everyone knows. What is Diwali? You guys know better than me. What? Yes.
They killed a demon.
Well, the killing of Ravan allowed for the Diwali of Ram to happen, but that was Ram Vijayotsava. That was a few days back of the killing of the demon celebration. So you know, because you're Vijay. Yeah, so you know all about Vijayotsavas. So no problem.
What is a Vijay?
Vijay means victory. So it's the victory of Ram over the demon Ravan.
Actually, Vijay means Arjun. Arjun is the part Krishna is teaching Arjun.
Yes.
All this Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
So,
Krishna teaching Arjun all this Bhagavad Gita while the war is going on.
yes.
While writing.
Oh, Arjuna. Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
So he's Vijay Kumar. It's a name for Arjuna. And it's indicating that Arjuna is victorious. And why is he victorious? Because Krishna gives him Bhagavad Gita. He gives him the best pep talk of all time. So that's what I'd like to call Bhagavad Gita. So, but anyhow, what is Diwali? It's a celebration of lamps, right? And who are they inviting back into Ayodhya?
Right.
Yeah, Sita Ram and all of his associates on the Pushpa Vimana. This is the ancient tale, right? But Krishna is telling us what the real Dipena is in Bhagavad Gita. And it's jnana of Him, knowledge of Him. If you know about Bhagavan, then you'll know to invite Bhagavan back into your heart. That's actually the significance of Diwali. They suffered for 14 years while Bhagavan Sri Ram was away. And then when he came back, when it was finally time, they greeted him with a big festival of lamps. Did you know there were 2 other Diwalis? Do you know the other 2 Diwalis? Do you know the first Diwali in this material world that's confirmed by the Vedas? What?
I mean, for Dasara there is Bogi, this and that. But I don't know for Diwali. You see, Dasara is the one before.
Yes, he was Ram's father.
So, Bogi and festival and that. Sankranti.
Yeah. Yes. So anyway, I don't know what you're referring, but I can tell the first Diwali that happened is actually when Bhagavan came a previous time in the Vaman incarnation. And when
referring to that part of the story.
What's that? So yes, when Bali got sent to Patalaloka, and he invited Vaman to come and be his gatekeeper there. When Vaman actually came to be the gatekeeper there, they offered him lamps, and they had the first Diwali of this material world. Not a lot of people know, but they had the first Diwali. And then, as we know, when Bhagavan Sri Ram was victorious over Ravan, and he was finally able to return and had reclaimed Sita, you know how the pastime, the epic goes. And when they came, all the citizens who were longing for Ram, they didn't want him to leave, and it was a whole 14-year struggle. But when they finally came back, they kept him in his hearts, and when he was finally come back, they lit his way. But the main deep, and this is what my emphasis to you is, become aware. We are the Krishna consciousness movement. Let your consciousness rest in Bhagavan, because this is what Diwali is about. You must have the Sambandha Jnana of your relationship with Bhagavan in order to actually practice Diwali, to invite Bhagavan back into your home. Your heart is your home. If your God is your source. We did Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo, Mata Sarvam Pravartate. We just did that verse. He's the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything's emanating from Him. He is your source. He's the source of your consciousness. So we must, if we really want to celebrate Diwali, we must take the deep of knowledge of God, Jnana Dipena Bhashvata, that glowing lamp of knowledge, and let that Nashayam Yatma Bhavasto, let that dispel our soul of Aham Jnana Jamtamaha, the Ajnana, the ignorance, the darkness due to our ignorance. So, if you're experiencing darkness in this life, if you're experiencing suffering, the conclusion here from Krishna is become knowledgeable of me. Understand me and worship me with all your heart. Understand who I am and understand to worship me. Understand my previous incarnations like Bhagavan Sri Ram and Bhagavan Vaman, and many of them. There's Dash avatars. There's actually, it's said to be more avatars of the Lord than there are waves in the ocean. So we are humbly requesting that we have a science of approaching God. We have revelations from God that He's giving, and He's giving us the complete keys to satisfaction in this life and in every life, wherever you go next. And that we don't have any good chance on our own to try and discover the world. We can't, we have very little, and the Lord actually says Himself that's not how you get knowledge of me. That's not how you get satisfaction. But if you worship Him with all your heart, He will reveal so much to you. He'll give you Buddha Yoga, which is real intelligence. Revelation, knowledge is given through one who has knowledge. The devotee gets the knowledge from God through revelation. Instead of being like the foolish child who doesn't listen to his parents and tries to discover the world all by themselves, we can actually we can be obedient to our parent, and we can follow their guidance and wisdom, and they'll give us real intelligence, like not to stick our hands in fire, or not to stick a fork in the electrical socket, or not to put the toaster in the bath oven, not to put the toaster in the bathtub. All these things, our parents probably taught you this. At least my parents taught me many of these things. But now there is a well-wisher, Bhagavan, a God, a personal God, who has everyone in his best interest, and all He wants from us is to just acknowledge Him, and then more and more acknowledge Him. And the more one acknowledges that God, then He will give more and more facility for real satisfaction in life. And ultimately, Diwali is the pinnacle of His devotees, for those who understood this, like the citizens of Ayodhya, who were all the devotees of Ram, or even the citizens of Patalaloka, who became the devotees of Vaman, or the citizens of Dwarka, who had the third Diwali, where they ushered Krishna into Dwarka after the Mahabharat war. So now we also can be devotees of the Lord. We can learn more about the Lord. You can know more if you study Bhagavad Gita, you study some of the literatures we have here. We have so much revelation given by a lineage of saints who are connected to these incarnations of the Lord. But the main thing is, don't take my word for it. Observe it yourself, read it yourself, and see. Experiment. Is that true? Can I apply this? The wonderful thing about Bhagavad Gita, I'm giving you the essence in chapter 10, but the wonderful thing about Bhagavad Gita is he gives you all practical things in the beginning that you can test with your own logic and senses. And then at some point, you'll realize your position and that you can't measure what he's about to tell you anymore. And from there, because he's given you so much knowledge that you can practically measure, then you start to develop faith in the higher teachings. I kind of skipped to the higher teachings because this is what's related to Diwali, this Jnana Dipena. So please, my humble request to you is become very conscious of God, become conscious of Bhagavan, and know the essence of Diwali is to invite Bhagavan back into your heart. Know you come from God, and that your heart will be the most wonderful, just like Ayodhya was only wonderful when Ram was there present. When Ram was outside of Ayodhya in trial, Ayodhya was like a ghost town. Everyone was lamenting, everyone was weeping. Similarly, when Krishna was in the land of Vrindavan, it was such an incredible, wonderful, magical place. But when Krishna left Vrindavan, it was like all the devotees there were, distraught. It was a terrible existence in so much pain and suffering. So similarly here now, your body, your heart, your mind, it's suffering. You're not completely satisfied. It's okay. You're allowed to not be completely satisfied. And guess what? You never can be completely satisfied unless you invite that light and invite that personality back into your life. And that's God, who's given the very existence of your consciousness. So that's our message for Diwali. Invite the Lord back into your heart and back into your home. We're going to do a prayer now, and we're going to do a ritual where we're going to all offer a lamp to the altar, because Diwali or Deepawali is about the offering of lamps to the Lord. So now we're going to offer a lamp to the Lord, and we're going to sing a song called the Damodar Astakam. Now the Damodar Astakam isn't about Sri Ram or Diwali, but it's also taking place in the Kartik month. You know it's Kartik Mas? It's recommended in Kartik Mas. The Lord is saying this month, does everyone like a good sale? Yes, right? Manali, if you go to the store, like I have to go grocery shopping, like today or tomorrow. I'm out of groceries. And so when I go grocery shopping, if I saw at the store 99.99% off, I would be elated. I'd be like, you got to be kidding me. Let me buy the whole store. 99.99% off? For every $100, I only have to spend 1 cent? Who would go on a shopping spree if such a thing were available? Everyone. But actually, during this month, Krishna is actually saying one's devotional efforts are 99.99% off. Meaning you'll get 1,000 times the benefit that you would get to do the same activity outside of this month. So this is Krishna's special mercy because it's his favorite month. It's the Kartik Mas. So Diwali happens to come in this month. So we're going to offer the lamps in the spirit of Diwali, but we're going to also offer the lamp and sing the Damodar Astakam, because it's said this is the one recommendation Krishna says is would make him very happy during this month. So we'll do this. It's said to be very dear to God. If you don't necessarily want to subscribe to all that, just offer the lamp and entertain us. No problem. And you'll still get the same benefit. No problem. It can't hurt. It can't hurt to just offer a lamp. But this is the cultural, traditional thing to do, and offer a lamp on Diwali. But also it's said to make great benefit. So again, in conclusion, the message of the 4 verses of Bhagavad Gita, there is a God, everything's emanating from God. If you know this, when you know this, the wise who do know this will worship God. That is step 1. Step 2, as you worship God, your consciousness will become filled with God. Your very life will become devoted to God. And you'll start gathering with others only, instead of gathering with others to drink and do this, that, and the other, you will want to gather with others to speak of God. And you will become more and more conversant, and you'll become more and more enlightened about God. And then when that happens, tushanticha ramanticha, you'll be greatly satisfied. We're all looking for satisfaction, right? All these rock stars, they have all the sex, drugs, and money that they can have in the world, but they're still singing, I just can't get no satisfaction. Why? Because they can't. It's impossible to get satisfaction with these things.
He wrote that song before he got all that satisfaction, and then he just plays it because everyone was into it. You know what I mean?
Well, you know.
Now he's got all that satisfaction. He's
No.
not gonna change the words though.
No, he that would be cute. But from what I could tell, he couldn't. And then there's a reason one of the greatest rock stars in the world at that time, was George Harrison. And he also couldn't get no satisfaction doing that, which is why he ended up joining the Krishna consciousness movement. And he actually printed one of our famous books, the Krishna book. If you want to know about Krishna and his pastimes, George Harrison funded the printing of that book. And he wrote the foreword too. It's very nice. So there's a reason the Beatles went to India and they were looking for spiritual pleasure, because they knew when they had all of the top world's pleasure, money, fame, women, sex, drugs, all intoxication, everything, they knew it didn't give happiness. So they were looking for something else. And George actually found it because he was the most enlightened of the bunch. And he died with devotees chanting around him. That's how he wanted to die, actually. And he was one of the dear disciples of Srila Prabhupada, and a really wonderful personality. But anyhow, when one realizes in wisdom that the Lord is to be worshipped, you will devote your life to Him, and you'll always be speaking of Him, and you'll get great pleasure in doing this. Or if not speaking, you'll be hearing about the Lord, which is what we set up here. Facility so you can know more about the Lord. And then, again, one who's always engaged in this way, he gives the real intelligence by which you can come to Him. So real intelligence is not going to come just by the scientific method. It would be even better if you learned from a teacher who is much more versed. And so the Lord will send that teacher to you. He'll give you the intelligence by which you come to Him, and that process is done in finding a master. Which is why we follow a lineage of masters. And ourselves, I'm reading from a book presented and translated in English and given a commentary by a master. I'm not speaking from my own discoveries. I discovered it only through the revelation of spiritual teachers in my life. And that's the only way you can get real revelation. So, and then last, out of His compassion, He'll remove the darkness of ignorance. He'll dispel it from your life through the shining lamp of knowledge. And that's what Diwali is also about. The shining lamp. What's that lamp representing? Is knowledge. So become knowledgeable of the Lord. Invite Him into your life. Invite Him back into your home, your heart. And that's the significance of Diwali. It's a happy time, a celebratory time where we celebrate the Lord returning home. But now please invite the Lord back into your home, into your heart. And develop some devotion. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, this is the wise thing to do. And so this is the essence of Diwali. So is there any questions before we do our final song, and then we'll eat a big feast? Questions, comments, rebuttals? You're allowed to do rebuttals. We like that.
This one. Wait, this one.
Yes? Anything? Everyone has got the conclusion you all want to become devoted to the Lord now? And if not, you'll at least want to, let me at least acknowledge what the Lord says. If Krishna is saying this, let me at least entertain it. Let me look at it and entertain it. Everyone has at least come to that conclusion. It might be valuable.
Yes.
I would say it's definitely valuable. Especially because, we crunched the numbers in the beginning of the class. With our own basic human experience and faculties, we have a 0% chance of fully getting revelation of knowledge on our own. So anyhow, that's the science we did in the beginning of class. But anyhow, thank you guys for joining. We're so happy to have you. We'll now do a final song where we're going to chant the Damodarastakam. It has a really deep meaning, but the essential meaning of this bhajan is this: that there really is nothing else worth getting in the world, and there's nothing else that can conquer God. If you want to know what conquers God, it's only devotion. You'll never conquer God by, I'm going to figure you out, God, or I'm going to do this. The only way, the thing that conquers Him his devotion. And this pastime of the Damodar Lila is an example of that, how devotion is what conquers God, and that God is conquerable, but not by force, not by intelligence, not by any material qualification. He's only conquerable by love. But to even love somebody, to love God, you have to know they exist. Like there's some really nice people here. And I don't know most of your names, actually. It would be nice if I knew your name, but I don't. Because I don't really have, you don't have knowledge of me much, and I don't have knowledge of you. So there's really not so much facility for love to be there. Because we don't have too much relationship yet. But over time, if we get to know each other, like I have, Manali's been here for some years. And me and my wife have so much love for Manali. And Mukunda's been here for years, and so much love for Mukunda has been developed. And all the people working tirelessly in the kitchen to cook, I have so much love for them because I have so much understanding of them, and hopefully they have some love for me. So similarly, if we want to actually have bhakti or love for God, we have to know about Him first. If you haven't studied, if you haven't at least acknowledged what Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, if you haven't heard the pastimes of Ramayana, if you haven't heard the pastimes of Mahabharata or Srimad Bhagavatam, and you don't know what the Lord does and what He likes and what He dislikes and so on, no chance of this love coming. Because there's no relationship. Love comes in relationship. Just like some of you have significant others in your life. And once you meet them and you know of them, and you can cultivate love in relationship with that person. But if you don't meet them, if you don't even know anything about them, what kind of relationship can be there? What kind of love can be exchanged? Nothing. So similarly, if you want the highest love, the thing that's going to give Tushanti and Ramanti real satisfaction and real pleasure, you have to, with the Jnana Dipena Bhashvata, the shining lamp of knowledge, understand the Lord in that relationship. And that can all be revealed in Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, or even just come and hear Harikatha. That's actually the verse is telling, just hearing about the Lord and discussing about the Lord, this is what gives real satisfaction and pleasure. So come here, we invite you. Every week every day every day you can come here at some point in the day. We have 8 to 9 a.m. every morning, except Sundays and Wednesdays when we have a program later in the day. Today is at 11:30 and Wednesdays at 6. If you do this and join this process with us, you also will be Tushanti and Ramanti. You'll be greatly satisfied and greatly pleased. If you don't do this, fine. Try and join the material world. No problem. But it won't work. Birth, death, disease, old age will keep, as Prabhupada calls it, the relentless onslaught going. And you will find yourself suffering if you're not already finding yourself suffering. So, no problem, the suffering has value because in suffering you may eventually realize, maybe I should do something different. An insane person does the same thing over and over again and thinks that'll make them happy. We've tried to enjoy the body and its senses over and over and over again, not just this lifetime, in this life and in previous lifetimes, over and over again. Well, if I just engage this sense with a sense object, I'll be happy. If I just engage my eyes with Netflix, I'll be happy. If I engage the tongue with good food, I'll be happy. If I engage the genitals with, this type of pleasure, I'll be happy. But guess what? It's never made us happy. It doesn't last, the happiness. When you eat all the ice cream, eventually the ice cream goes away, and if you keep eating the ice cream, it gets you sick. There's so many addictions, and people in the world have all kinds of sensory addictions because these things don't make them happy. They need more and more and more, and guess what? Then they become an addict, and then they're really suffering. But anyhow, you could try your way. We've been trying our way for a long time. It doesn't work, but you can keep trying, no problem. But you will get the result. You're gonna suffer. But the Lord is giving you a real solution where you don't have to suffer anymore. But guess what? It takes some surrender. And that's the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. But we'll talk about that at another time. Happy Diwali. Please offer a lamp with us. And then we'll have a great prasadam feast together. Sound good? Hare Krishna. Thank you. So you guys are happy in the back? Yeah, very good. All right. You're good? Very good. Okay. We're going to do Damodar Astakam now. So the devotees come in here for instruments. And please offer a lamp. It's recommended to just, if one offers a lamp during this month of Kartik, it is extremely pleasing to the Lord. So just, even if you don't even acknowledge or believe in a God, no problem. Just entertain us with offering a lamp. And in that offering of the lamp, God is saying He is going to give you great benefit. So you can't lose. Actually, before I had that spiritual experience, I got in an argument with my cousin because I was an atheist and he was a Christian. And he came, we battled, battle of wits for about 2 hours, me and him. And then finally it was a stalemate. He wasn't going to go anywhere and I wasn't going to go anywhere. I'm an atheist and he's a Christian. But then at the end of the day, and he told me, he defeated me. And you know what he said? Well, wouldn't you want there to be a God? I said, yeah, that would be nice. A magical genie who can grant all my wishes. That sounds amazing. And he's like, well, then just say this. God, if you're real, show me. Want to try it? God, if you're real.
God, if you're real.
Show me.
Show me.
So anyway, I said that. And I was an atheist. I looked at the sky and I was just like, jokingly, God, if you're real, show me, fine. And then I just carried on with my life. We ended the argument. I thought I won. He thought he won. There was no real winner. But at the end, what ended up happening is 6 months later, he showed me. And so, similarly, even if you don't know that, don't think you know if there's a God, if you are actually seeking, Jesus says, seek and ye shall find, ask and ye shall receive, knock and ye shall enter. If you really do pursue, and you really do want to know the ultimate truth, like any true scientist is, you will find out there's a personality behind that truth, and He will show you. But be open to it. Be open. Don't be closed off to the potentialities, the potentials here. Just be open and see what happens. So anyhow.
Have you now destroyed your cousin in battle?
No. Actually, now he battles me the other way. He argues with me more now than because...
You're like, yeah, there's a God.
Yeah, now I totally acknowledge there's a God, totally acknowledge Jesus, totally acknowledge everything he was trying to tell me, but now he's telling me I'm doing it the wrong way. Yeah, because that's the Christian thing. But anyway, no problem. Let them do whatever they need to do. But, but yeah, no, that cousin helped me, and now he gives me probably the most difficulty of any of my family members. It's interesting. But, that's Krishna's arrangement. And I deserve it, because I gave everyone else so much difficulty earlier. So now it's my turn. Now it's my turn to take that.